I'm here at Hardee's to tell you how you can get an exciting Home Alone 2 poster. They're all from the movie, you know, where Kevin gets lost in New York and...
Hey, Julius Erving. The man who created the skyhook, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The Birdman, Larry Bird. And the man they call Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls. Today, the United States Postal Service honors the 100th anniversary of basketball with this commemorative stamp.
Well, in case you didn't know it, today is Columbus Day, and while America is celebrating what is called the discovery of the New World, two modern-day Italians are celebrating a feat of their own. Joan Murray has more on the world's largest pizza.
It wasn't confetti, it was raining pepperoni in Havana, Florida. Pizza maker Lorenzo Amato and Roma Foods founder Luigi Pancone joined forces to make the world's largest pizza. This is Lorenzo and Luigi's third record-breaking pizza. It's 10,000 square feet, 2/3 the size of a football field. Large enough to put Lorenzo and Luigi back in the Guinness Book of World Records.
That's good.
145.5.
So what do you got there? 4.5. No more.
Singapore took the title away last year. It was all Lorenzo needed to make him try again.
Every time I do the big pizzeria, city stop, but it's nice. It's thinking that you bring the title back. It's nice to meet so many pizza men who volunteer to come and they own a sponsor.
It is unmistakable who was in charge of what when the pizzas were put down like so many square tiles beginning at 5 in the morning. 6,000 pounds of sauce, 9,000 pounds of cheese were spread in about 4 hours' time. They yield 120,000 slices.
It's different.
Meaning what?
It's good. It's huge.
No, it's not like a pizza house, Pizza Hut.
Yeah, we're
But
going
it's
to take
good
our
down here in the open market. It's very good.
Lorenzo says it's his last shot at the title. Luigi won't hear of it. The title belongs here, he says. After all, we eat more pizza in America than anywhere else. And that includes Italy. In Havana, Florida, Joan Murray reporting.
Looks pretty good, but can they deliver in 30 minutes? That's the big question. We'll be right back with more news in just a moment.
You wouldn't want us to show you 3-day-old Janice Thompson. So instead, we're showing you her lungs. You see, Janice was born with what's known as low birth weight. She was only 1.5 pounds. Because Janice's mother didn't know that getting pregnant was any reason to see a doctor. Janice sees lots of doctors now. A message from the March of Dimes.
She's like an older friend that would give me advice, anything I needed.
She would always respect us and listen to us.
She really helps us to grow.
I think she's kind of like a role model to me, and she's generous.
Those girls are Girl Scouts, and they were talking about me. I'm a Girl Scout leader, and it's a great experience. Join us. We always put the girl first.
I'm Stephanie Lamata. When a bout with multiple sclerosis left me blind and paralyzed, my dad, Jake, urged me to keep punching. Now I'm in remission and hitting as hard as my dad, using boxing strategies to stay fit. My future is uncertain, but my determination to be a winner is not. Each week, some 200 adults learn they have MS. There is no cure, but there is hope through research and services funded by the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. Call your local MS chapter or 1-800-624-8236.
Well, with the colder weather setting in, doesn't curling up near the fireplace with video sound like a pretty good idea? Well, movie critic Sarah Voorhees takes a look at the newest releases.
All right, let me ask you something, Rita. You think it's fair some low-life dirtbag has millions of dollars when other people can't put a roof over their heads?
What have you done, Artie?
Michael Keaton had a tough job in One Good Cop. The screenplay can't decide whether it's a hardcore drug movie or a tender story about a cop who'll try anything to support his family. Still, if you like Keaton, it's worth renting.
Last time you called me Ma, Louis, didn't you, huh? Bet you're sorry you didn't kill me.
Hey, Mick, not for nothing, but if I wanted to kill you, there's this invention called a gun.
The Five Heartbeats is Robert Townsend's musical account of the rise and fall of a mid-60s vocal group that looks suspiciously like the Temptations. Diane Carroll still looks like $1 million, and some of the songs are great. But this is Townsend going straight to Hollywood.
Doc, I saw it on the radio.
Oliver Stone took another perspective on the music of the 60s with The Doors. It's a vibrant and disturbing portrait of a troubled decade, with Val Kilmer as the mysterious Jim Morrison. This movie could have been called Birth to Earth with Jim Morrison.
Mr. Morrison, you've gone too far. The show's over. You violated state absurdity laws under arrest. There you go.
New Jack City is starkly and horrifically up to date. Rap star Ice-T plays a cop who's after a villainous drug lord, played by Wesley Snipes. This is violent and frightening, but it shows just how simplistic the Just Say No program is for an urban problem born of poverty and despair.
Come on, I gotta get off the streets. You know what's gonna happen if I stay on the streets, man? I need something to be a part of, man. Come on. If you don't believe in me, who's gonna believe in me?
I'm Sarah Voorhees reporting.
All right, thanks, Sarah. And that's going to do it for this half hour. Be sure to stay with Minnesota's 24-hour news channel for all news all night.
You're watching Eyewitness News all night on Minnesota's 24-hour news channel, Channel 5.
Me half as much as I loved you.
The beautiful voice of Roger Whittaker.
Once in a while he won't call.
Now, Heartland Music presents Roger Whittaker in his all-new collection.
Oh, my papa.
2 great albums.
I can't stop loving you.
All your favorites.
Did you ever know that you're my hero?
It's not sold in stores.
I'll be loving you.
Here's how to order.
Always.
Call 1-800-547-3900. Use your credit card or send check or money order for $12.98 for records or cassettes or $16.98 for compact disc, plus $3 shipping to Roger Whittaker, P.O. Box 1771, Department A.N., Burbank, California.
See The Joan Rivers Show, weekday mornings at 10 on Channel 5.
Headlining this edition of Eyewitness News all night, the Minnesota Twins return to the Twin Cities as American League champions. Fire officials are investigating an early morning fire at a pub in Minneapolis. And some Arizonans use grease to try to catch a pig. All these stories and weather are next.
You're watching KSTP Channel 5, St. Paul, Minneapolis. Now, live from your 24-hour news channel, Dave Taylor and the entire Eyewitness News team. This is Eyewitness News all night.
Ken Herbeck and the Minnesota Twins return from Toronto to celebrate their American League pennant with their fans. They now only have to wait for Saturday to host Game 1 of the World Series. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. The Minnesota Twins return to the Twin Cities, enjoying their ALCS title as they get ready for the series. The Twins rolled into the Hubert H. Humphrey Terminal around midnight. Several hundred fans showed up to welcome the team home. Many of the players were tired, but still thanked the fans for their support.
Thanks for sticking with us, and hopefully you'll stick with us for a couple more weeks. It's a good feeling, and I know y'all are feeling pretty good. I know we're feeling good, and it's exciting.
Outside the terminal, many players like Mike Palierillo were mobbed by the fans as he made his way to his car. First baseman Ken Herbeck was also a favorite and took time to walk through the crowd shaking hands. Well, by the time the National League champion has been crowned, the Twins ought to be well rested and ready for World Series action. The series begins this Saturday at the Metrodome at 7:29. The second game is also here on Sunday at 7:40. Then the action moves to either Atlanta or Pittsburgh, depending on who wins the National League title. That series is now tied at 2 games each. Then, if needed, the final 2 games of the series will be at the Metrodome on Saturday the 26th and Sunday the 27th. Well, do you have something to say to the Twins? Here's a chance for you to send the American League champs your personal token of fan appreciation. A huge Go Twins sign is in place at the IDS Crystal Court. If you want to give the Twins a note of congratulations or some ideas on the game, just attach it to the wall on one of those Post-it notes that they have available for you there. Well, in other news this morning, Minneapolis fire officials are still trying to determine what caused an early morning fire at McCready's Pub. Firefighters were called to 318 South 3rd Street around 1 o'clock this morning. They tell us the fire was in the middle of the building, which is very long. They say this made it difficult to get to, so the fire went to 4 alarms as a precaution. They were able to save the exterior of the building, but the interior suffered heavy smoke damage. No injuries are reported. Turning now to national news, they went into the wee hours of the morning, but hearings into allegations that Supreme Court nominee Clarence Thomas sexually harassed a former aide appear to have ended. News Star reporter Griff Potter has more on the weekend of testimony.
The marathon session of the Senate Judiciary Committee heard strong defense of both Clarence Thomas and Anita Hill. 4 of Hill's friends testified she told them of Thomas's sexual harassment years ago.
Professor Hill at that time had no reason to claim sexual harassment as an explanation for leaving the EEOC. Many people leave government jobs for teaching positions. Thus, I concluded then, and I still believe, that she was telling the truth.
But Austin, Texas lawyer John Doggett told the committee Anita Hill once mistakenly believed he had developed a romantic interest in her.
The reason I thought her statements were so bizarre was because our contact was so limited. If we had had much more contact with each other, and as the good Senator Chairman had said, she had come up to me at the end and said, John, you know, we've been seen running into each other time and time again, then their comment would have been much more understandable. Since we had had so little contact, I found it to be a bizarre comment.
In another development, Republicans on the committee are disputing the validity of a polygraph test taken by Anita Hill on Sunday. Polygraph expert Paul Miner, who administered the test, says he believes Hill was telling the truth when she accused Clarence Thomas of making sexually explicit remarks to her.
And it was my opinion that there was no indication of deception.
With both sides adamant in their convictions, it will now be up to the full Senate to decide. They'll vote on Thomas's nomination at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Griff Potter reporting.
Well, it looks like church members are standing behind televangelist Jimmy Swaggart, who was stopped in California on traffic violations with a prostitute in his car. Swaggart did not attend services yesterday at his church in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He was said to be at home resting from his trip, but church members say they still support the church.
I have no plans whatsoever in leaving this church or this ministry. Our prayers and our support is with them, and as long as God's in control of it, God will have his way.
It's God's problem, and if we wait upon him, he'll renew our strength. We'll come through this.
Swaggart released a statement that he will meet with the congregation in a couple of days to tell them what's in his heart. In Vienna, a spokesman for the International Atomic Energy Agency says a fresh team of weapons inspectors has arrived in Baghdad. The inspectors are carrying out the investigation of Iraq's nuclear arms programs ordered by the United Nations. Now, the UN Security Council Friday banned Iraq's entire atomic program so that supposed energy research could not be used as a cover for weapons research. In news from the Middle East, Kurdish rebels say they fear an attack by Iraqi forces. The Kurds say Iraqi President Saddam Hussein has increased his military forces in northern Iraq. The United States military is not commenting on whether more Iraqi troops have moved into that region. President Bush is suggesting that any future summits with Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev on nuclear arms cuts may have to include leaders of the various Soviet republics. But Bush says it's a little too early to decide on the arrangements for such a meeting. The world's biggest industrial democracies have agreed on what they call an historic plan to help the Soviet Union build a market economy. But the group of 7 finance ministers have not made specific promises of any financial aid. The G7 is currently meeting in Bangkok, Thailand. Well, we'll soon know who will be this year's winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Committee is expected to announce its choice this morning at about 5 our time in Oslo, Norway. Now, Norwegian media are predicting the recipient will be Burma's jailed opposition leader. Right now, time for a timeout. Check on our current weather conditions. Chris Grote joins us from Weather Center 5. How's it going, Chris?
It's going just great, thank you very much.
And a little chilly out there this morning?
Yeah, it certainly is. As a matter of fact, it's going to be a cool couple of days coming up, so keep that in mind. As a matter of fact, it will be so cool we might see a snowflake fly late in the day today. Yeah, that is chilly, isn't it? No big surprises, though. It's that time of year. 46 degrees right now in the Twin Cities. West of the winds at 17, gusting to 23. And the skies are cloudy. Here's the early morning bad news. 36 to 40 this morning. A little light rainfall, very light rainfall. Spotty light rainfall today, this afternoon, maybe a snow flurry. 41 to 45. That's high temperatures, David. 41 to 45.
Oh, that is chilly, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. All the forecast details are coming up a little bit. Of course, you knew that.
I did. I did indeed. All right, we'll see you then.
All right.
Right now, 38 minutes after the hour. We'll be right back with more news. First, let's take a look at today's markets.
Here's Stephen Sharon.
On the next Good Company, meet new dads over 50 and find out what it's like to be an older dad with a newborn baby.
We'll show you a dramatic new procedure that removes freckles and age spots using lasers.
And a haunted hayride.
At 3.
We don't take kids in this building.
We don't allow pets, not even guide dogs.
Sorry, they just took that house off the market.
When you suspect housing discrimination, call toll-free 1-800-669-9777. You can change illegal housing practices. You can see justice done. Fair housing is the law. You can fight housing discrimination and win. Fair housing opens doors. That's 1-800-669-9777.
Do you have a brain-injured child? Did everybody tell you it was hopeless? Here at the Institutes for the Achievement of Human Potential, I've watched the parents and the staff make severely brain-injured children well when everyone said it couldn't be done. Want a fighting chance to get your child well? Call the Institutes for the Achievement of Human Potential. At this number, dial 1-800-73-MINELLI. That's 1-800-73-MINNELLI. Or write to this address.
If you see news happening, call the Eyewitness News tip line at 588-6397.
Well, the mystery over an AIDS scare in Dallas, Texas may be over. Ebony magazine published a letter in its September issue signed by a woman named CJ. The letter writer claimed to have the AIDS disease and said she was infecting men with the virus. Well, now Dallas police say the woman has come forward. She says she does not have AIDS and made up the letter. The 15-year-old girl says she meant well.
It was meant to help people, not hurt them, and, you know, it wasn't meant to go this far.
Her mom says she's glad Natasha wrote the letter.
I'm real proud that she wrote the letter for the simple reason it has scared a lot of people. It has kept a lot of people from going to bed with anybody.
Now, officials say it's not against the law to write a fictitious letter, but they do say if her statements to police are false, she could be charged with filing a false report. A deadly disease similar to the AIDS virus in humans is infecting cats, and veterinarians in California believe feline and human AIDS are so similar that a breakthrough in the cat disease could help people. Researchers are working on drugs for cats and now using those drugs in clinical trials for humans. Although the diseases are similar in cats, the disease is spread through biting, not sexually. By the way, researchers say humans are in no danger of contracting the disease from their cats. There's joyful news for a South Dakota family this morning. Saturday morning, Laurette Schweitzer gave birth to her own grandchildren. We talked with Schweitzer in May. Her daughter could not carry a pregnancy, so Twin Cities doctor William Phipps implanted Schweitzer with a fertilized egg from her daughter and son-in-law. Dr. Phipps says the family's success has sparked a lot of interest.
We've gotten a fair number of phone calls, letters from people asking about whether a similar approach could be taken with their individual situations.
Now the babies, Chad and Chelsea, are doing well, although they were born 5 weeks early. Well, when the air gets too smoggy, many people experience burning eyes and breathing difficulties, but there are few cities in the world that are completely free of pollution. Dr. Dean Adele looks at a study which found that even low levels of smog can have bad effects on your health.
Luckily, there's still a good deal of the world that looks like this, clean and green. But it's usually not where many of us live and work. When lots of people and industry come together, you usually find air pollution, and it's not a pretty picture. We know that folks living in highly polluted areas are likely to have more respiratory problems. But what about cities with low levels of pollution?
After all, how can a little smog be bad for you? Life is full of risks, right? Well, pinpointing the potential problems with low levels of smog is important, but it's tricky. In order to really study the health hazards, you've got to control for a lot of things, like the effects of passive smoking and stress and even socioeconomic factors. Well, some Finnish researchers have finally done just that.
Doctors compared hundreds of children living in an industrial city with low levels of pollution with youngsters from 2 other non-industrial but still urban areas. During the course of a year, kids from the polluted city, and remember, we're talking about low levels of smog, had more respiratory infections than the kids from the cleaner cities. And even within the mildly polluted city, kids living in the smoggier neighborhoods had more health problems than the kids from the cleaner side of the tracks. And here's the rub. The pollution levels that led to more infections were even lower than the ones considered acceptable by federal regulators here. So in spite of everything we've done so far, we have a ways to go when it comes to clean air and good health. I'm Dr. Dean Adele.
And tomorrow, Dr. Dean Adele looks at how doctors are treating patients who are losing their sense of smell. Right now, 44 minutes after the hour, we'll be right back with sports.
We're on your side.
Where'd this Cub Scout troop get this pile of garbage? They pulled it right out of the Minnehaha Creek.
Whether you're new to the area or have lived here all your life, protecting Minnesota's rivers and streams is everyone's responsibility.
And join all of us from Channel 5 in our Adopt a River project.
Anyone can adopt a portion of their favorite waterway and organize a cleanup like this. For more information, call this number.
Join Channel 5's Adopt a River project and help us protect Minnesota's natural resources.
Plant a tree for your tomorrow. It's your tree that clears the air. Plant a tree, trees for America. Plant a tree today for all the world to share. Taste the breeze, it's life inside you.
Make a promise to the earth.
Plant a tree, now is the time to recognize a tree for all that it is worth. Plant a tree for your tomorrow. It's your tree that clears the air. Plant a tree, trees for America. Plant a tree today for all the world to share.
All right, time now for sports. Ed Cairo joins us. And Ed, did you think the Twins would sweep up in Toronto?
I never thought they would, Dave. I thought they might win this series, but I couldn't fathom the idea that Toronto really collapsed as badly as they did toward the end of this last game. But that's what happened, of course. Worst to first in the World Series in 1 year. Those amazing Twins heading to the big dance after walking all over the Toronto Blue Jays. Twins beat Toronto 8-5 to win the American League pennant 4-1. The Twins trailed today 5-2 when Roberto Alomar singled to score Manny Lee and Mookie Wilson. Then a 2-out rally in the fourth, and Toronto sitting pretty. But the Twins never gave up. Kirby Puckett, the MVP of this series, delivers when he sends a single to right. Dan Gladden scores, and the Twins led 6-5. They went on to win it 8-5, and the party was on.
Knew we had a good team. I never thought it would be like this.
You're wearing a shirt that says American League Champions. How's that sound and how's it look?
Well, the bad thing is I just lost my Western Division champion shirt, so I don't really care.
Somebody who I can get. Let me see. How about right here? Right here. How about right here? Yes, sir.
Doesn't seem to matter at what point in your career you go through it. It's just living proof that hard work pays off, and everybody in this locker room that was in uniform today deserves this moment because we really worked hard to get through it.
Junior, you're there. You finally got yourself to the World Series.
I know. This is the best moment of my life right now.
Well, all of that Twins madness takes a whole lot of thunder away from the first Viking victory in 4 weeks. The Vikes and Rich Gannon got the job done very impressively this afternoon against the Phoenix Cardinals. Here's how it went. Gannon, starting his second game of the season, pushed all the right buttons today. First quarter, back to pass, watch for number 80 in the purple, Chris Carter, who not only makes the catch, but snakes his way in for 42 yards and 7-zip Vikes. Herschel Walker scored from a yard out a little later, and then it was Gannon single-handedly seeing what the Vikes could have a 20-0 lead by intermission. Then, with all the receivers covered, Gannon took off and rumbled 18 yards in a whale of an effort. Well, up some distance in the third, Gannon, who threw for 254 yards, hooks up with Anthony Carter. The Vikes win big in a big game for them, 34-7. Gannon even impressed his own teammates.
You know, he's really adjusting well. You know, he really progressed today. Really did some good things. Led us down the field.
Well, it'll be New England next week at 3 wins and 4 losses, with the Vikings taking on the Patriots, who are off today, as was the rest of the NFC Central with the NFC bye system. The New Orleans Saints still perfect on the season thanks to former Cretan star Steve Walsh. Walsh was pressed into action after Saints starter Bobby Hebert was knocked out with a mild concussion. Walsh threw to Dalton Hilliard for 14 yards and the game-winning touchdown as the Saints beat the Eagles 13-6. New Orleans now 6-0. Elsewhere, because of the Braves playoff, Chiefs rolled 42-7 over Miami in Kansas City this afternoon. Well, as you might imagine, there were a whole lot of numbers going on all over the country in sports. Let's take a look at those now on our overnight scoreboard.
And in the NFL, there's only 2 teams that haven't won a game, Cincinnati Bengals and the Indianapolis Colts. I don't think the Colts ever will win a game this year. Chris Grota's in next with the weather forecast. Stay tuned.
Pig Bundy shows you how to eat your way to a healthier life.
I work, I want food. You know what food is? It's hot stuff you put in your mouth. It smells good, you swallow it, and you want more. That's what food is.
It's Al Bundy's perfect menu.
Now, I'm going to watch the news. And when it's over, I want some form of dead animal on my plate.
On the next Married with Children.
Tonight after Eyewitness News on Channel 5.
Thousands of forest fires are started by people who never realize what they've done. Some never even set foot in the forest.
Mandy. Our school bus driver's name is Lucille. When she puts out the stop sign and turns on the flashing red lights, all cars are supposed to stop and stay stopped. Thanks for stopping for flashing red. Kids depend on you.
The Minnesota School Bus Safety Committee reminds you to stop and stay stopped when approaching or overtaking a school bus with flashing red lights and extended stop arm.
All right, time now for another check on the weather. Chris Grote joins us from upstairs, Weather Center 5. Much going on up there this morning?
Let me look. Nope, just me.
Guess not?
Nope, not a whole lot. I'm putting together a forecast, a cold one. It's going to be chilly over the next couple of days, but keep in mind, I'm forecasting a midweek warm-up. We'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. Outside now, ooh, raw northwesterly winds blowing in all that cold Arctic air. 37 in Bemidji right now. There could be a little bit of snow as close as Thief River Falls. Fargo's at 40, International Falls is at 42. Northerly winds pushing all that cool air our way. Southern Minnesota holding in the mid-40s at the hour. Outside, the details in the Twin Cities. 46. The dew point, the temperature at which dew would form in your backyard this morning, 34 degrees. We've got a ways to go. That's a fairly low relative humidity for this hour. Westerly winds at 17. They should be northwesterly throughout the morning hours. Skies are currently cloudy. Look at the satellite photography over the last 18 hours. Big swirl in the upper atmosphere. Southerly winds throughout the daytime hours on Sunday, but all that warm air moving in went into producing clouds rather than warming up the earth. So there were a few spotty showers out there. Kind of a windy and raw day on Sunday afternoon. Well, now we're on the backside of the storm. So the winds shift, they become northwesterly, and you know what's up here, Canada. All that cold air sitting up there just waiting to blow into the state. It's going to happen throughout the daytime hours today. We'll have cloudy skies all day long. It's going to be a windy, raw, cold day. A few spotty showers sitting out there, and as a matter of fact, some snowflakes will mix in across the northern half of the state throughout the daytime hours today. Wow, there's the high pressure moving into the west of us, so we're going to have to deal with it for a couple of days as it moves slowly off to the east, all right? What are we talking in temperatures here? You're asking? Yeah, 40-degree readings, lower 40s for highs here in the Twin Cities. And look at this. Northern Minnesota will stay in the 30s today, and that's where the snow is going to be. It's going to be tugged into the area. And as a matter of fact, as this cold air comes in overnight tonight, we could threaten some record low temperatures, and those will be in the mid-20s. Now let's talk about the week. This is a jet stream, all right? This is a river of wind about 10 miles high, and it divides this time of year, all year long actually, divides the cold air from the warm air, all right? See how the streams to the north of us? We're going to have some of this warm air pushing in from the southwest. So a couple of chilly days coming up, but keep in mind, it's only temporary, as is all things. Outside during the early morning hours, 36 to 40 with a little light rainfall. Later on this afternoon, a stray light sprinkle, maybe a snowflake, 41 to 45. That's kind of cool. Let's look ahead. See, there's the warm-up coming into midweek. Tomorrow morning is going to be a cold one, threatening some record lows out there. Yeah. Our record lows at 26.
Yeah, first time in the 20s, maybe?
No, we've been in the 20s a couple of times already, David. So maybe you were on vacation or something.
Okay. All right, we'll talk to you later, Chris. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Eyewitness News All Night will continue in just a moment.
How would you feel if everyone knew your secrets?
B to the A-N-I-double-L-A-I.